Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another collaboration with my friend Brad over at Irresistible Magic. If you guys saw during Vlogmas, we did a collaboration where we each got a random Funko and we had to customize it into a character that is not already represented by Funko. Now, fun fact, I turned my Funko in that original challenge into the Blue Fairy from Pinocchio, and a month later, Disney came out with a Blue Fairy Funko. And then the other Funko that I customized was Walt Disney himself, and soon after that, Disney came out with a Walt Disney Funko. So if all goes according to plan, in about a month, we will see this Funko created by Funko. I see you, Funko. No, I'm totally kidding, guys. Obviously, it takes them like a really long time to get these like in the lineup, so if they come out a month after this, they were already planning on it. I know the logic, but I'm still gonna act like this, so I don't know what to tell you guys. So anyway, so for this collab, once again, Brad's mom, Nicole, who's my friend, she sent us, she gave Brad one and then sent me a surprise Funko. So the surprise Funko that we received is this one, which is Karen Walker from Will and Grace. She's not in here because I'm filming the intro after I've already customized her, so I'm obviously not going to ruin the surprise. But we both got Karen Walker and we had to customize her into someone else. Now, I took a very different approach this time around, and I did turn her into a character that you probably saw in the thumbnail, and I guess I already ruined it, so I guess I should just say it right now. So I did decide to turn her into Lottie Ball Gown, Princess Lottie from Princess and the Frog. The reason that's kind of funny is because last time around when we did this, that's actually who Brad turned his Funko into, but he did like casual Lottie, so now we both have a custom Lottie Funko. I really wanted to try something different, which is where I swap out the bodies on the Funkos, so that's what I went with, and I'm not going to keep talking, otherwise this intro is going to be way too long. So let's jump into how I transformed Karen Walker into Lottie.
So this one was a little bit trickier for me to fully decide who I wanted to do. I considered doing Jane from Tarzan or Pacha's wife, but the little updo that she had on just reminded me so much of Lottie in her ball gown that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. So a sweet subscriber of mine sent me a bunch of Funkos, like basically half of her collection that she was planning on donating, she donated to me. And one of those Funkos that she sent me is the live action Belle, which is this one right here. So I just pulled off Karen's head. If you need to know how to do that, just leave it for me in the comments below. I can walk you through it. But basically, you just use a hairdryer and heat up the head normally. Now this Funko is a little bit different because the base of the head is a rectangle. So I'm gonna have to show you how I messed with that. But this Funko, Belle, her head just kind of like popped right off like this. Karen's head did not come off that easily. Okay, so I want to show you guys, I couldn't get this piece off just by yanking it, so I cut the top of her neck off and then was able to remove the disc so that now I can put this on here and then attach the head back. But I'm going to paint this and sculpt it first. So starting with painting, Karen's hair is a very dark brown. It's actually showing up a lot lighter on camera, but I'm using this yellow apple barrel acrylic paint that I have. It's in the shade Daffodil and it's a very, very light yellow. It took me about 4, maybe 5 coats of this yellow to get it fully covered on the brown, and there still are kind of like little spots where I just can't seem to get it perfectly covered because it meets up with her skin tone and I don't want to get yellow all over her skin. So it kind of just depends how patient you are, I guess, but anytime you're changing an extreme dark color to a light color, obviously it's going to take a lot more patience and paint. So if you are using this tutorial because you want your own Lottie Funko, just go into this with some patience. I did try to mix a darker yellow with the lighter yellow, but I ended up going back in with another layer of the lighter yellow because to me, when her hair got too yellow, it just looked less like Lottie. It ended up looking almost like Cinderella more so. But anyway, I'm going to speed through this because it took a little while. I do want to show you guys, this is what it looked like after just one coat of paint. So obviously that's not good enough. So then I did a second coat, and you can still kind of see that brown peeking through in certain spots. You can even see I got a little bit of mess on her head. I did clean that up using some nail polish remover very carefully on a Q-tip. And then this was after, I believe, 4 coats. So I'm finally satisfied with it being yellow. Moving on to the next step in this, which is the ball gown. So I am first going to do a very thin coat of pink paint. I'm not going to totally cover it. I just wanted a layer so that when I lay the clay down, I didn't have to worry about getting into every single little crevice. So I'm just taking this really light apple barrel pink shade, and using a flat paintbrush, I am just painting this all around the skirt. I am going to be modifying this dress quite a bit, a lot more than I originally planned on, just because I'm super nitpicky and it happens. After I've done this this one layer of paint, next what I'm moving on to is the sculpting. So Lottie's ball gown has quite a few different features on it, but it does not have bell sleeves. So I went in with an X-Acto knife, and I am trying to shave off this sleeve. This is very difficult to do well. I'm going to warn you guys, like, I really did struggle with this, and then I wish I had gone back and sanded her arm down a little bit, because it definitely had like just kind of an unnatural cut on it, if I'm making any sense at all. But I just took my X-Acto knife and I slowly kind of shaved off parts of her sleeve, because I ended up going in and painting that part of her with a skin tone color that matches this particular Funko, and then I'm gonna add like the big poofy sleeves and stuff with clay. So now that I'm done kind of shaving off the sleeve that's on the dress, I'm going to take my Sculpey clay. This is a baking clay, and originally I did cut a little, I don't even know what to call this, like a collar to go on the back of the dress, but I do end up not being able to use it because the head won't sit on the Funko if you have the collar on the back. So I even tried to fold it down so that the head would fit, and it didn't work. But the part that did work was the little poofy sleeve. So that part was pretty easy. I kind of just rolled up the clay into little balls, and then I just firmly started pushing it down onto her shoulders. This part kind of just takes, again, some patience when you're working with clay. My issue with this, and if you guys have any tips for me, is I tend to get, after I bake the clay, I can see my fingerprints in it, and it drives me absolutely crazy because it's got this really weird texture on it. I did think that maybe if I dip my fingers in water next time that might help. You guys let me know if you've ever worked with clay, or if you have any tips for me, please let me know, because I do really enjoy customizing these Funkos, but I just want to get past this like stage of amateurness where my clay has all these little indents in it after it bakes. So anyway, this is what it looked like right before I put it in the oven, and I just followed the baking instructions on the back of the Sculpey clay. Before I popped it in though, I did realize that she has a little belt and a giant bow on the front of her dress. So I rolled a really skinny piece of that clay, and I'm just wrapping it around her waistline. Belle's dress does have this little rose texture on it. I do end up cutting that off with an X-Acto knife and just kind of smoothing the dress out with a little bit more clay. But next, I believe I'm going to create the little straps that hang down from the bow just by rolling it out, and then I am going to press these down onto the dress. So Lottie's dress has like a ginormous bow in the center, and then like the pull strings on the bow. I don't know what else to call them. The ribbons that hang down from the bow. They're quite long. They're actually super uneven in the photo, but it looked weird on the Funko to make them uneven, so I just gave it like a little bit of unevenness. And next I'm going to make the actual bow. I did make the bow quite large because that's how it looks on Lottie. And then I'm just going to kind of roll it out using my X-Acto knife as like a little rolling pin, and then I cut the bow out using my X-Acto knife. And then once I have the bow the way that I like it, I'm going to press that into those little ribbons that are hanging down. And then I did realize that I needed a little centerpiece on my bow. I do wish that I had done that first. So if you're, following this as a tutorial, I would make the whole bow as like one solid piece and then go and stick that on. It's just a little bit easier to work with that way. So this is what it looked like after I baked it. If you can see here, I did break off the collar because the head wouldn't fit with the collar on, and I just kind of accepted the fact that she's not going to have a collar on her dress. So next I'm going in with that light pink color again, and I did 2 more coats of this all around the skirt, and then I am going to, of course, paint the sleeves and the top, and then I will go in with a darker pink shade and a little bit on that bow. So this is the next day, and I'm going in again with that light pink shade one more time just to fully cover up this dress and make it really evenly coated. And then that night, because I work in like 15-minute chunks in my life, I'm going in with a darker pink and painting that bow. Definitely just take your time with the bow because it is, a little bit hard to paint it and not get the dark pink on the dress. If I went back and did this again, I kind of think to myself, like, maybe I should have done the bow first. But it is harder to cover up lighter colors with darker colors, if you guys get what I'm saying, so I don't actually know if that would have helped. But I really do like to walk you guys through what goes through my head when I'm doing these, which is questioning myself at every turn. Also make sure that you paint the dark pink on the belt, just to make it match, obviously. The next thing I did was give Lottie her little beauty mark. This is one of my favorite things that she does in the movie. It's so funny to me. But I'm taking a pin, like a sewing pin, and I actually clip off the end of it because it being sharp, it doesn't work very well. So I clipped off the end of it to give it like a flat top, and then I'm dipping it into some really dark brown paint, and I am just dotting it right above where her mouth would be to give her a little beauty mark. The next thing I'm going to do is make her earrings a little bit more Lottie. So I have these little crystal beads on hand, and I'm using some E6000. I'm just going to dot a little bit of glue onto the pearl earrings that already came on this Funko, and then I'm going to press these little crystals onto the bottom because Lottie's earrings are actually little dangly ones, and this is kind of the best I could do to represent that. Now for Lottie's tiara, I was honestly just too scared to try to sculpt one. I thought I would just be too frustrated and it wasn't going to work. So I found this in my daughter's room, and yes, I did take it without asking. Kala, if you're watching this, I love you so much and I'm so sorry. I don't even know what this is from. I want to say it's from a toy at Dollar Tree. And I snipped off the ends of it because if you guys could see, the little headband part doesn't sit right on her. It was kind of hard to get this to look exactly centered and right, but I just thought it looked so much like her tiara in the movie that I was like, you know what, I'm going for it. So I added a little E6000 onto the bottom using a Q-tip, and then I just pressed it down in place. The last thing I did was just attach the head to the body. I did not glue the head back on. It had a pretty firm hold without the glue, so I just kind of placed it back on. And that's it for this tutorial. Again, I am still a total beginner with this. Brad is much more of the expert in this area, but I do have so much fun making these. If you guys have any tips for this for me, like using the clay or painting or anything like that, please let me know in the comments below because I want to get better at this. I really am enjoying it. And then let me know what you would have done. Would you have done a different character with this particular Funko? How would you have changed this? What would you have decided? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to go check out Brad's video as well, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.